Hey guys, I am Aditya Thakur and welcome back to Newton School's Get Set Code channel. I am a developer and designer. I make videos on Flutter and Python, and here at Newton School I am an instructor. Newton School is a platform which prepares you for your career in tech. It has courses designed for freshers, working professionals, and also for women with no tech background. It has a network of 300 plus great companies who hire from them, and after you complete the training, it ensures that you get placed in one of the best companies in the country. And the best part is they have a pay after placement program, so you don't have to pay anything until you are placed. The Launchpad is a initiative taken by Newton School for people who want to start coding, and it prepares you for different languages absolutely free of cost. So in this video, we will talk about Python loops. There are two primitive loops, the while loop and the for loop. For this video, we'll particularly focus on for loops, which are sort of an iterator method that you can use on lists and dictionaries, tuples. They are used to iterate over a sequence, and the for loop is sort of like a keyword which works like a method that you will use to go from one element to another or iterate, as in other similar to what other programming languages have, and we can execute different statements like one for each item in a list or a tuple or a set, etc. So what I'll do is I'll quickly go over to newtonschool.co so that we can look at some of the examples. If you're new here, you can sign up, create an account, but since I already have one, I'll just log in. Now this should take some time to load up, but once you are in, go over to the playground, head down to the algorithm playground. You can create a new editor, use an existing one. I like to create a new one, so I'll just create a new editor. This should open up the code, the input and the output tabs. Before getting started, make sure you select a compiler. Since we have been working with Python 3, so I'll go with Python 3.8.1, and there you have it. So we have seen previously how to use a loop, although I had mentioned that we'll take them up at length in a new video, and this is that video. So what I want to do is, if I want to create a new list basically, so there is a list called friends, right? And it has some names of people. And Ayush. All right, so we have a list of friends here. Now what I can do is I can use the for loop, x in friends, and print x. हाँ जी, हाँ आया थोड़ी देर बाद. So this is like a basic implementation. There was this list of friends, and with for loop x in friends, you can print out each element in this list. So what it's basically doing is x is iterating over each of these. So for x in friends, first it will go to the first name and then print it out. Then it would go to the second name and like this, and so on. This is a simple implementation of the for loop where it iterates over each element and prints it out. Now we also know basically strings are a list of characters. So what you can do is you can also use the for loop to iterate each character, iterate over each character of a string. And how you can do that is, instead of using a variable, what if we use a string here, right? I'll get rid of this list, and now if I run it, so you'll notice this friends is a string which is basically a list of characters, and the for loop just iterates over each element. So it will print out f, you have f here, then a, r, then I, e, n, d, s, and so on. So that is how a for loop works. It just goes in sequence, goes through every element and prints it out. Now let's go a little bit back. Cannot edit that. Yep, here we have our list back again. Now, as I was saying that there are two keywords which are very important when talking about loops. The first is the break keyword and the continue keyword. So there is this for loop and you're printing out like each element in the list. But if this x is equal to Aditya, right? So I don't want to print it then, and I just want to continue, right? Because I'm printing out my friend's name. I don't want to print my own name in that list. So what it will do is, let's try running it. And it would skip my name. Basically, if x is equal to Aditya, it would just skip that and continue to the next iteration and print out the other names that are there in the list. Now, there is also the break keyword. Basically, if there is someone like, let us say there is another name added to this list and I don't want to print it out. So if this x variable becomes equal to it, I'll just break out of the loop. Now if I run it, and there you have it. So in the list, it will print out Aditya, Aman, and if it reaches the list, iterates over and reaches, it finds a bad friend in the list, so it will not print out that to the console. And basically the implementation is for the break keyword. So what break does is, if break keyword is encountered during the execution of a loop, the control or the CPU that it exists that loop, or control will exit the loop there and then. So if bad friend is encountered in the list, the control will break out of the loop. That is how simple it is. With continue keyword, what we were doing is basically iterating or going to the next statement. The loop was executing, the loop would continue, but the statements that were under the continue keyword would not get executed. So for in the same example, if I'll just use the continue keyword and run it again, what will happen is it will not print out the bad friend, but it will print out all the good friends. So this is like the right thing to do. It will not print this bad friend here, and it would print out the next friend, which is Ayush. So this is like a simple example of how to use break and continue in loops. Now with for loop, we also have the range function. So let us say instead of using it inside a list, you want to print certain statements for certain times. So you can use this range keyword, and how you will do that is basically for x in range and give it a number 6, and let us say print hello world. Now if I run it, so it should print out hello world 6 times. So this is like the very basic implementation of for loop. You can use it for a certain range, that is, you want to print it out from for 6 times. So you will type in for x in range 6 and print out the hello world. There are other parameters that you can supply, as in you can also, normally it starts with 0. So but you can also specify a starting parameter, as in if I want to start it from 2. Now if I run it, what you'll notice is ki it will print out hello world, hello world, hello world. What this basically means is it will start from 2. This is 2, 3, 4 and 5. So it starts from 2, but it excludes this last number. Similarly, if no range is specified, it starts from 0. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it excludes that last number, that is 6. So it basically excludes it. You can specify a starting range. This could be anything like 5. So what will happen, it will print it out once, right? It will exclude 6 and it would only print it out once. And that is how range works. So we'll come across a range again when we are working with the patterns in Python, which will be in next video, because it would help you clear a lot of concepts of loops. And you can also use like else in for loop. So how this works is basically else keyword is for loop specifies a block of code to be executed when the loop is finished. So I can type in else in this block of code and type in print done. If I run it now, you'll notice like after the loop is finished, the else keyword works and it prints out like done to it. Now there could be times when you don't want to write in any statements in the loop as of then, so you can use the pass keyword. Pass keyword is just basically a type of a placeholder. It does nothing. Loops cannot be empty, as in if I want to write no statements and create a loop, so it would give me an error. These loops can't be empty, so you need to put in the pass keyword if you aren't giving any statements to the loop then. So yep, that is how you can use a loop with no content. And that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, do subscribe the channel to keep updated with the next videos as they come out. And yeah, thank you so much.